In this video, a powerful message from God is being revealed. This message is urgent, and it holds a divine warning about the future. God says, "Pay attention, for the signs around you are not random. There are forces at work beyond what you can see. The choices made today are shaping what is to come." God's anger is not without reason, and it is not without purpose. When God sends a sign, it is meant to awaken the spirit. The path ahead carries consequences, and the warnings must not be ignored. Those who listen will be guided, but those who dismiss it will face hardships. This is not a time for delay or doubt. A great shift is unfolding, and God is watching closely. Every action, every decision, and every step taken will determine what comes next. Like this video if you receive this message. There is a reason why you are hearing this today. Divine intervention is happening, and God is calling for awareness. The anger of God is not to harm but to redirect. A storm is forming for those who refuse to listen. The choices of one generation can bring blessings or burdens upon the next. Ignoring the call of God has consequences that reach far beyond today. Many have turned away, believing there is still time. But the truth is, time is running out. The signs are already here, and they are increasing. When God's anger rises, it is because something must change. It is not to punish but to wake up those who are lost. The warnings are a gift, but they will not last forever. Type Amen if you are listening. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $50. A son's actions can shape the destiny of his bloodline. There are unseen forces at play, pulling at the spirit, influencing decisions. What seems small today can lead to great destruction tomorrow. The anger of God is a response to rebellion. When warnings are ignored, the doors to hardship open. But those who turn back will find mercy waiting for them. Do not mistake silence for approval. God is patient, but patience is not permission. He has been watching, and now He is speaking. The time to take action is now. Delay is dangerous, and ignoring the signs will bring regret. But those who turn to God will see a path open before them. Type 777 if you choose to follow God's path. God says, the future is not set in stone. There is still time to shift the outcome, but the window is closing. Those who hear this message are being given a rare chance. A heart that refuses correction will face storms it cannot withstand. The warnings are clear, but they must be taken seriously. God's love is deep, but His justice is firm. Many have been walking in shadows, believing they are hidden. But nothing is hidden from the eyes of God. Every action, every thought, and every intention is known. This is not a message of fear, but a message of truth. Truth has the power to set free, but only if it is embraced. Those who reject it will feel the weight of their choices. Type glory if you accept this truth. There is a battle happening in the spiritual realm. It is not seen, but its effects are felt. The war is for the souls of the next generation. God's anger is stirred when warnings are ignored. He sees the path ahead and knows what is coming. This is why the call to change is urgent. A father's actions affect his son, and a son's choices affect his future. The cycle can be broken, but it requires obedience. Those who turn back to God will find a way out. The doors of mercy are still open. But they will not stay open forever. The time to step through them is now. Type 999 if you believe in God's mercy. God says, there are consequences for every action. Blessings follow obedience, but destruction follows rebellion. Many believe they can outrun the truth, but the truth always finds them. This message is not by chance. It has been sent as a wake-up call. Those who ignore it will remember this moment when the consequences arrive. The anger of God is a sign that change is needed. It is not about destruction but about transformation. Ignoring it will lead to suffering, but embracing it will lead to breakthroughs. Do not let pride block the path to redemption. The hardest step is often the first one. But once it is taken, the weight begins to lift. Type yes if you are ready for change. There are those who have been given multiple warnings. The signs have been clear, yet they continue down the wrong path. But this is the final call before the storm. God does not want to bring hardship, but He cannot bless disobedience. Those who refuse to listen will find themselves in a place of regret. But those who choose to turn back will be covered in grace. The future is still in your hands. But that will not be the case for long. The time to act is now. This is a moment of decision. The next step taken will determine what comes next. Do not let this warning go unheard. Type Amen if you accept this call. God sees beyond what human eyes can see. He knows the dangers that lie ahead. This is why He speaks with urgency. The choices made today will determine the blessings or battles of tomorrow. Some doors must be shut before it is too late. Walking away from what is wrong is the first step toward restoration. Do not be fooled by temporary comfort. Just because judgment has not fallen yet does not mean it is not coming. Every warning ignored is a step closer to the storm. The anger of God is a signal, not a punishment. It is a call to return before destruction arrives. Those who listen will be saved from unnecessary suffering. Type faith if you choose to listen. God says, this is not a time to delay. The warnings have been spoken, and the time to respond is now. Those who act will find protection, but those who ignore will face consequences. The path is clear for those who are willing to walk it. Mercy is still available, but it requires action. Those who refuse to change will soon wish they had. A son's future is shaped by the choices of today. A father's wisdom can guide or mislead. The responsibility is great, but so is the grace for those who choose correctly. This is not a message to take lightly. The weight of the future is upon this moment. Choose wisely, for the window of opportunity is closing. Type 333 if you receive this message. The power to shift the future is in your hands. The warnings have been given, and the choice is yours. Do not wait until it is too late. God has spoken, and the message is clear. Those who listen will walk in blessings. Those who ignore will walk in storms. This is a moment of divine intervention. The warning has been sent, and now the decision must be made. Choose obedience, and the path ahead will be filled with light. There is no more time for hesitation. Act now, and step into the future God has prepared. The choice is yours. There is no coincidence in the events unfolding. Everything that is happening carries a deeper meaning. The displeasure of God is not hidden, and it must not be dismissed. A storm is gathering for those who refuse to see the truth. The signs have been placed before you, but they are being ignored. What comes next will depend on the actions taken now. God's patience is not forever. He is watching, and He is speaking. The time to listen is now, before the door of grace begins to close. Type 333 if you receive this warning. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $50. A son's path is not separate from his family. What he does, what he chooses, and what he believes will shape generations. The weight of responsibility is heavy, but it cannot be avoided. The displeasure of God is not without reason. It is a response to actions that are leading down a dangerous road. Ignoring it will not make it disappear. There are consequences for rebellion. The warnings have been sent, and more will follow. But those who continue to resist correction will face what they are not prepared for. This is not just about today. The future is being affected by what is happening now. Every moment wasted brings a greater cost. Type Amen if you are ready to listen. God says, the choices of one affect the destiny of many. A son who walks in disobedience does not walk alone, he carries the weight of his actions upon those connected to him. This is why the warning must not be ignored. What seems small now can grow into destruction. The decisions made in this moment will determine what is built or what is lost. There is no escaping the law of consequences. Some have convinced themselves that there is still time. They believe they can wait, that they can delay. But time is not unlimited, and the final warning always comes unexpectedly. A path that leads away from God will never end in peace. It may seem smooth for a time, but the road will always collapse. The signs of trouble are already appearing. Type 777 if you choose to follow God's guidance. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $50. A father's role is not just to provide but to lead. His wisdom must be used to correct, to guide, and to protect. Turning away from that responsibility is an invitation for disaster. Many have allowed fear to silence them. They see what is wrong, but they hesitate to speak. That hesitation is costly. Silence is not love. Ignoring a growing problem does not make it go away. The warnings are given so that action can be taken before it is too late. God's displeasure is a sign of deep concern. It is not a desire for destruction, but a call for change. The doors of mercy remain open, but not forever. Type glory if you believe in God's mercy. The warnings have been clear. They have come in many forms, yet they continue to be brushed aside. But they will not be repeated forever. A son who rejects wisdom will face storms of his own making. But a father who fails to correct will share in that suffering. The responsibility cannot be passed to someone else. The call for change is urgent. It is not a suggestion, but a necessity. Those who do not act will look back with regret. Everything that happens now is shaping what comes next. The road is still open, but it will not remain open forever. The time for decision is now. Type 999 if you understand this message. God says, this is not just about one person. The choices made today will echo for generations. Those who refuse to see this will understand too late. A warning ignored is a disaster welcomed. Many believe they are safe because judgment has not yet come. But the delay is not approval, it is mercy. Mercy does not last forever. There is a final moment when the warnings end and the consequences begin. That moment is approaching. There is still hope, but only for those who act now. Change is possible, but it must happen before the door of opportunity closes. Type yes if you choose the right path. Many have turned away from the truth. They have chosen comfort over correction. But that comfort is an illusion. God does not allow disobedience to continue without consequence. He has been patient, but patience is not without limits. This is the moment to turn back. The signs are increasing. Everything that was once hidden is being exposed. The truth is rising, and it cannot be denied. There will be no excuses when the consequences arrive. Everyone has been warned. Everyone has been given a chance. Type Amen if you accept this call. God sees beyond what human eyes can see. He knows where every path leads. This is why He warns before destruction comes. The decisions made today will determine the blessings or battles of tomorrow. The outcome is still in your hands. But not for much longer. Some doors must be closed before it is too late. The weight of the future is upon this moment. Choose wisely, for delay will bring regret. There is no escaping the truth. The only option is to face it and take action. Those who listen will be saved from unnecessary suffering. Type faith if you choose to listen. God says, there are consequences for every action. Blessings follow obedience, but hardship follows rebellion. Many believe they can avoid this truth, but the truth cannot be escaped. This message is a final call for some. A reminder for others. But for all who hear it, it is a chance to change before it is too late. The displeasure of God is not without reason. It is a sign that something must shift. To ignore it is to invite suffering. Do not let pride block the path to redemption. The hardest step is often the first one. But once it is taken, the weight begins to lift. Type 333 if you receive this message. The power to shift the future is in your hands. The warnings have been given, and the choice is yours. Do not wait until it is too late. God has spoken, and the message is clear. Those who listen will walk in blessings. Those who ignore will walk in storms. This is a moment of divine intervention. The warning has been sent, and now the decision must be made. Choose obedience, and the path ahead will be filled with light. There is no more time for hesitation. Act now, and step into the future God has prepared. The choice is yours. There is a reason this message has reached you today. The future is being shaped by the actions of the present. What happens next depends on what is done now. The anger of God is not without purpose. It is a response to what is unfolding, to what has been ignored for too long. There is still time to turn back, but the window is closing. Every moment of hesitation brings consequences closer. The warnings have been sent, and the signs are increasing. Those who refuse to see will soon understand, but by then, it may be too late. Type 333 if you receive this warning. A son's actions are never his alone. They ripple through time, affecting generations. What is left uncorrected today becomes a storm tomorrow. There is no escape from divine justice. It is not a matter of if but when. Ignoring the truth does not change its power. Many believe they have time, but time is not infinite. There is a limit, and that limit is being reached. God does not wait forever. Warnings come before destruction. This message is one of those warnings. Those who ignore it will feel the weight of their choices. Type Amen if you choose to listen. God says, the signs have been placed before you. They have been subtle, then obvious, yet they remain unseen by those who refuse to acknowledge them. But refusing to see does not make them disappear. A path has been chosen, and it is leading toward hardship. This can still be changed, but the decision must be made now. There will not be another opportunity like this. Some have already begun to feel the consequences. They do not recognize them for what they are. But soon, understanding will come, and with it, regret. Regret is not meant to be a teacher. Wisdom should come before pain, not after it. That is why this message is urgent. Type 777 if you choose to follow God's guidance. A father's responsibility does not end with provision. He is called to correct, to guide, to protect. To remain silent is to allow destruction to grow. Fear has silenced many. They have seen what is happening, but they do nothing. But silence is not love, it is surrender. Love requires action. It requires speaking when words are difficult. It requires standing when standing is hard. God's anger is not about punishment, it is about correction. It is a force that demands change before destruction arrives. This is why the call is urgent. Type glory if you accept this truth. The warnings have been sent in many forms. Through events, through circumstances, through feelings that something is not right. But they continue to be ignored. A son who walks in rebellion walks toward destruction. And a father who does not correct walks beside him. This is a truth that cannot be denied. A future shaped by disobedience is not a future of peace. It is a future of struggle, of hardship, of loss. The path must be redirected before it is too late. The door is still open, but it will not stay open forever. Mercy is still available, but it requires action. Those who wait will regret it. Type 999 if you understand this message. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $50. God says, this is the moment of decision. The warnings will not continue forever. Those who hear and act will be saved from unnecessary suffering. There are those who have convinced themselves that everything is fine, that nothing needs to change. But the truth does not bend to comfort. Comfort has kept many blind. It has allowed destruction to grow unnoticed. But soon, what has been hidden will be exposed. There will be no escaping the consequences when they arrive. The only way to avoid them is to act now. The choice is still yours, but not for much longer. Type yes if you choose the right path. Many have turned their backs on wisdom. They have chosen their own way. But that way is leading to destruction. God does not send warnings without reason. He has been patient, but patience is not forever. The moment of reckoning is near. The signs will only become clearer. Everything that was once hidden is being brought to light. There will be no excuses when the time comes. This is the last moment before the shift. The last call before consequences take hold. The weight of the future is resting on this moment. Type Amen if you accept this call. There is still a chance to change. But that chance must be taken now. The doors will not stay open forever. The choices made today will determine the blessings or burdens of tomorrow. Those who act wisely will walk in peace. Those who delay will face hardship. Some doors must be closed. Some paths must be abandoned. Delay is the enemy of transformation. The truth is in front of you. The warning has been given. Now, the response is in your hands. Type faith if you choose to listen. God says, consequences are coming. They are not sent in anger, but in justice. Those who refuse to change will feel them. This message is a final chance for some. A wake-up call for others. But for all, it is a moment of decision. Mercy is still available. But it must be claimed. Those who wait will wish they had acted sooner. Do not let pride block the path to redemption. The hardest step is the first one. But once it is taken, the weight begins to lift. Type 333 if you receive this message. If you wish to express your support further, you have the option to give super thanks, with contributions of up to $50. The future is still in your hands. But only for a little while longer. Every moment of delay makes the consequences heavier. God has spoken. His message is clear. The warning has been given. The choice must be made now. Those who listen will walk in blessings. Those who refuse will walk in storms. This is divine intervention. A message from above. The door is still open, but it will not stay open much longer.